Hi everyone, Liz here, thanks for stopping by. So I have completed my poured glue versus double-sided tape comparison and I thought you'd like to have a look at it. So let me just move the drills out of the way. This is our little peeking owl, not peeking as in China, but he's peeking round the corner. Okay, so quite different, quite fun to do. Well, it wasn't fun taking the adhesive off this half. The middle part is roughly there. I should have marked it really as to where the double-sided tape was compared to where I put the magic glue on. If you remember, I used Craft Buddy magic glue and it has stuck the drills wonderfully. As you can see, they can bend and move and they're not coming off. They're really good. I wish the same could be said for the double-sided tape side. As you can see, I've just noticed that I have got a drill missing. One has popped out. So see if I can do this. Can you see how nice and neat and tidy the poured glue side is there? It's just bending a little bit because I've got the canvas bent. How nice and neat rows that is, and it's all lined up and looks really good compared to, I think you can really see that, the square side, which is double-sided tape. You can see some of the drills are raised up. They've basically not gone into place where I wanted them to go, and I believe from my experience that this is the difference between using a poured glue canvas where you have that little bit of slippage room, as it were, so you can actually get things lined up and get them into place, whereas your double-sided tape, it tends to, once it's stuck down, it doesn't really move. And if you've not got it exactly right in exactly the right square, you tend to get gapping that you can see here, and popping drills, because if they're not an exact space and your drills aren't 100% square, this is a square one, then you'll find that they do start popping off. You can solve that by using a roller or using a rolling pin or something heavy to flatten them down, and then sealing the canvas. So if you are using it as a present for somebody, you can, seal it and it will stop the drills from popping off. But I think you can see really that the difference is amazing between, I mean, it's exactly the same person doing it, that was me, exactly the same drills, exactly the same painting. The only difference is I took the double-sided tape off one side and put poured glue on it, and I think you can see that's lovely and smooth and no popping drills, and they've all sat in nice little neat rows. And then the double-sided tape side, which is how the canvas came, is just not as good. I'm quite shocked at how different it was, because I always thought, well, it doesn't really make much difference. I've never been a big fan of double-sided tape, but I didn't realise that, it would be so different. And to be honest, this side of the canvas is a lot flatter as well. I don't think the camera's going to pick this up, but this is actually undulating a little bit. There are bends in this canvas. Now, some of that is going to be down to user error, because if you've been watching me a while, you know that my eyesight isn't fantastic. So lining things up and getting things in straight rows and putting drills the right way up for starters isn't always the best from me, but I didn't think my diamond painting was that bad. And now I've seen what it looks like on on a poured glue canvas compared to the double-sided adhesive, double-sided tape side of this. It's just quite remarkable. I don't think this one's going to be going on the wall unless I take this off. I mean, this corner is just amazing. I thought I'd diamond painted that exactly the same as the other. In fact, I think I started this as I was doing a whip and chat. I started that corner, but it just really does show it up. And I do like doing these comparisons because it just shows how different things are. I mean, this, I wish you could feel it. Feely telly. It's just so smooth and flat and lovely. And this side is all bumpy and raised up, where the drills aren't quite sitting flat. As I say, I do hold my hands up. Some of it is user error. Some of it is my fault. But yeah, so this is our little owl. So that is the completion of it. As I say, if you do want to rescue, as it were, a double-sided tape canvas and put your poured glue solution, as I say, I used Craft Buddy magic glue, as they call it. It's your little pot. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so it's your Craft Buddy crystal art magic glue. It's 50 mils. I mean, I didn't use that much. You only do need a thin coat. I think some of the other products that you can buy, I believe Diamond Dots do a similar product where you can make your own poured glue canvas. And I think you have to put 2 or 3 coats on. But I thought to start off with, I would give this a try with just 1 coat. In an odd place, I did have trouble getting the drill to stick. And I had to sort of like put it down, and I just put my finger over it and then it just stayed. And as you can see, none of them have come off. Whereas this one has popped. So yeah, I can recommend this product. Does work. The only thing is, this is very time consuming to take double-sided tape off a canvas. This is only a 20 by 30 picture. And it did take me a long time, and I did get sore fingers from having to scratch it up. I would probably try and find a better way to do it, but to be honest, to put this on the wall now, because of the difference and because I don't like how this looks, I suppose it shows up a lot more because it's a lighter colour drill, and yeah, it shows the black underneath as well, whereas this, you know, it's, well, I'm shocked. It doesn't take much to shock me, but this surprised maybe more than shocked. But yeah, it has made quite a difference to that. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at this. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Did you think it was so different? I think it's been useful to do it actually on the same canvas, rather than doing 2 canvases, one of poured glue, one of double-sided adhesive, because you know, you can't say, oh well, it's the canvas, oh well, it's the drills, you know, it's exactly the same drills, exactly the same person, hello, me doing it, and exactly the same canvas. So yeah, anyway, let's get this one kitted down. I think this one will just go into my little portfolio. I will find that little gem to go in there. You can actually use this magic glue as well if, say, you have got missing drills and you've not got any other sort of adhesive. You can use this just to pop on your drill and pop that one back in there, and it will hold it in place. It goes on white and you just leave it to go clear, and once it's clear you can use it. But yeah, quite surprised, and I'm pleased that it is actually showing up on the camera as well, because whoa, very, very different. Anyway, it's a square. It had 30 colours. So let's get my new storage out and get this one kitted down. It did come in little grip seal bags, but I decided, because it was 30 colours and I was doing the 2 sides, I wanted it in my little bottles, so I wasn't messing around and wasn't throwing drills all over and spilling them and knocking them over and all the other sorts of things that I can do from time to time. So let's start. We are on squares, so we want square box number 1. Come on down. I love this. I love opening this one. The round one's nowhere near as neat, sadly. I still have that one to do, but these are all my squares. It's based on Rebecca Add More Zest hair storage system. In fact, the labels and the cards were purchased from Rebecca. I did have a lady ask me what these dividers are made from and what these dividers are made from, and this is foam board. I got mine from Amazon. I do believe quite a few craft stores will sell it. Have I got a spare piece lying around? Let me have a look. I've got a few little cut up pieces in my bear's bag. So yeah, it's basically, it doesn't cut very well. It's better to use a craft knife. It doesn't cut very well. Either with a guillotine, you'll end up, it doesn't go through quite so well. Or, well, a craft knife is better. Scissors don't work quite so well either. I don't know what I'm trying to say now. My brain's going. I'm looking at that thinking that was a wonky edge, Liz. I don't know how you cut that one. Anyway, so yeah, it's a foam board. As you can see, it's quite... don't know, what is that? Let's give it a quick measure. See if I can do that on this horrible tape measure. Yeah, it's about 4 millimeters, half a centimetre thick. And I've actually used it in the past as well and put this on the back of pictures. It comes, my sheets that I've got are an A3 size, which is like 2 sheets of paper, 2 of this size. But you can get it in an A4 size, and you can also get it in black as well, which looks really good. But I did get the white ones, and then I've just actually used duct tape on the edges of this just to highlight it, just to keep it together. It's just so it just makes it look a little bit neater, a little bit tidier, and I do like my storage. So yeah, thank you to the lady that asked me what it was that I actually used. And yeah, it is the foam board. I've found that's the best. And these dividers are actually 2 of these pieces of foam board stuck together. So it just gives you that little bit of separation. If you just use one, you can't get your label on. That's why we're using 2. Otherwise, it's not wide enough for the label. Okay, pop that back. So let's get started on these. Oh, let me grab a tray first. Where's my tray? All right, my mirror thing has stopped working. So at the moment, I'm just looking at frozen pair of hands like this on my iPad that I'm trying to watch what I'm doing on here. So let me just double check that. Okay, I think we're in roughly the right place. You'll have to shout at me if it moves and you can't see. Only kidding, I know. Right, so let's start on the first colour. So the first colour is 150. So each of these little numbers, each of these cards has a DMC number, which is your thread count, your thread number from the company DMC, the embroidery or cross stitch numbers. So diamond painting drills are actually based on these numbers, use the same sort of colour number, which does make life a little bit easier, I suppose. At least we've got a number that we can match them up to. So all I do then is any that I've got left, which there's not many of those, is then just tip them into this bag. You will get different dye lots, you will get slightly different colours. So it's just a case of going along and adding them in. And I love doing this. I think because everything is just there, I'm not having to write out any numbers. I'm not having to search particularly for anything, because it's all just right at hand, all nice and neat and organised. As I say, my rounds aren't quite as nice and neat and organised as this, but yeah, so I do enjoy doing this. I find it quite relaxing. It's quite nice just to finish off a picture, and then it means that my case is empty to do my next one. Okay, so that's 154. That's a very popular colour. I know my round 154 is practically full. Once they are full, I'm going to start donating my squares or my rounds to different places, my drills to different places. My lady who has the Hedgehog Rescue, she's looking for darker coloured drills, because she makes like little badges and things of hedgehogs that she sells using spare drills. So, oh look, that's got completely different colour in there. I don't know what's gone wrong there, but it's definitely that colour. Anyway, we're going to stick with it for now. That could have been me that was wrong in the first place when I set up my drills, but I mean, that's 3 completely different shades there. I mean, that is like a peachy orange. But anyway, you never know, somebody else might have a picture that has got drills missing and needs that colour. They say it's that colour, so we'll add those in. It just keeps them all together and lets us know what we're doing. I have bought one of those books as well, you know, where you can put your drills onto the DMC canvas. What have I done with it? Yeah, it actually came like one of those plastic strips on it with a plastic cover, and I've just put holes in it and put it in a ring binder. I've yet to sit and put all the colours on this, but yeah, what you do is you just peel off the double-sided tape here, and then you can stick your drills on. So if you're maybe doing your own project, you're looking for a specific colour, it's not easy for me to say, or you've got some drills that haven't got a DMC code on, if you've got your little drills stuck on here, you can just put your bag up to it and see if it's the right colour. So that was just something I've had this well over a year, possibly a little bit longer, and yeah, it's it's not got done yet. Another to-do list. This is how I used to store my drills when I first started diamond painting. I used to use these little like card, I think they're gaming cards, like Pokemon cards and things like that, football cards, these little plastic slots. But as the drills got fuller, as the baggies got fuller, I was finding that as I picked it up, they would all just start flying out. And I was forever picking up bags off the floor. And of course, unless you put one for every colour, then each time you get a new number, if you then get, say, I don't know, 666, and you haven't got a space for it, you've then got to move all the others up to find a space. So I found that a little bit tedious, and that's why when I saw Rebecca's drills, I thought, yay, that looks like a brilliant idea. I think like with anything, you've got to find whatever works best for you. Some people might absolutely hate this and, you know, not like this type of storage. It works best for me, so that's why I use it. So yeah, it's but the square one is definitely a lot neater, but I have a lot less squares. I've done a lot less square paintings, so I've got a lot less of the square drills left over. Some people actually throw their drills away. Oh, I don't know how they can do that. I think, well, I was definitely a womble in a former life. I'm trying to work out what that number is. 436, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's 436. Yeah, we used to have a programme when I was a child in the UK called The Wombles. And they were just basically these little fairy animals. So they walked upright and they wore little sort of outfits. There was Orinoco and Uncle Bulgaria and Madame Chalet that was the cook, and Uncle Tobermory that did all the DIY, and then there was a little one called Wellington that had a school tie and a little school cap on. He was really sweet. There was a few others as well. I can't remember all the names. Oh, Bungle as well was one of them. Oh no, Bungle was a different programme. Ignore Bungle. I'm mixing up my characters. Yeah, and they supposedly lived on Wimbledon Common, and that's down in the south of the UK, and it's, well, near where the tennis takes place there, Wimbledon tennis in the summer. And yeah, so they used to go around collecting everything that people threw away and repurposing it, basically. So years and years ago we used to do recycling. So yeah, I'm I don't know, I find it really hard to throw things away. Little bit of a hoarder in me, possibly. Oh, they're quite a different colour to those, look. Wow. Okay, anyway, I'm going with it. I haven't got the space or the bags to separate out colours. I just go with these colours and hope that if I do need some spares because I've run out, then I can match them up. So yeah, I used to love the Wombles, and it's funny, we had I don't know, they did a television programme on them once, and this reporter stopped this man who was walking across Wimbledon Common, because it is like a green area with trees and everything, and there's a lot of people walking dogs and things. And he went up, the reporter, you know, was doing like a spoof just TV interview really, and he just stopped this random man and said, oh, you know, have you ever seen a womble? And he says, oh no, you only ever really see them at night, they don't come out when there's people about. So the reporter says to him, so wombles are real? And he says, of course they're real, what do you mean, of course wombles are real? And was really playing along with it, and it was just really, really funny. They were talking about wombles for quite a while. Bit like the Scottish haggis, and of course they're real. And yes, so that was oh, I think watching hours and hours of that just set me off on recycling, not throwing anything away. And we used to have another program as well. What was it called? Paper Play, I think it was. And they used to make things, you know, I think any cardboard box or washing up liquid bottle or anything like that that you came across, they always used to reuse them and make craft things from them. I know I made I used to be into Cindy, which was like the British equivalent of Barbie, and I used to make all sorts. I used to make houses. I think I made a shop once out of a cardboard box with all smaller cardboard boxes in it. I was forever making and doing stuff, and as I say, you know, I still sort of like look at egg boxes and think, oh, what could I do with that? I find it, I suppose it's better now you can put things in recycling, so you know they're all just not going to landfill and just getting thrown away. But yeah, I really do find it difficult. So, you know, hats off to anybody that can throw their drills away, and it is each to their own, and they are your drills, and it's entirely up to you what you do with them. And yeah, I mean, you know, this is time consuming. I could be diamond painting now. Gosh, they're two really different colours as well. It's like this diamond painting is just, it's gone its own way, and it's got its own colour system nearly. Anyway, we'll go with it for now. We've started, so we'll finish. That was another TV programme as well. But yeah, Paper Play, what did they have? Oh, they had Itsy and Bitsy spiders, and they had a yellow spider and a red spider, and they were like puppets. So they were like fair fabric puppets, and then it was like a great big ball dome on the top of the hand that had just two eyes on, and there just used to be these spiders that had come along and make these things. Oh, and I was absolutely fascinated when I was younger. I couldn't wait for it to come on. It wasn't on for very long, and it was only on, I think, once a week, and oh, it's one of my favourite times of the week. And then, of course, we had Blue Peter, which I think is one of the longest running children's TV shows in the world. I don't even know whether it's still on, to be fair. Our kids were never really into it, and I think now with children's TV is not really on television anymore, is it? It's all YouTube and Netflix, and it's got its own channels. So where are we now? 819. Are we still in this box? Yeah. And yeah, so Blue Peter, I used to love that. They used to have a making session as well on there. And the one that really sticks in my mind, and I must have only been probably about 7, is they made a chicken from newspaper. We're back to chickens again. And they sort of like got this newspaper. I mean, in those days there were the big newspapers, you know, like the Financial Times, that kind of size. Full, oh, what did they call them? Full something anyway. Not like the tabloid side, which are smaller. And you had to fold it in a certain way and wrap it round in a certain way, and you did end up with like this chicken body and then this neck and this head, and then you had to paint it. Well, I remember, I think I'd gone round to our next door neighbours. I was always round at the next door neighbours because they had a little dachshund, a little sausage dog, and I was always round there wanting to play with him. And she'd put the neighbour had put the television on for me. And we were watching this, and she said, oh, shall we have a go at making one of these chickens out of newspaper? And I'm like, oh yeah. Well, honestly, I'm not quite sure it looked like a chicken, but yeah, we certainly had a good go. but I was absolutely covered in newsprint. In those days, the print used to really come off the pages. It wasn't all the digital printing and everything that there are now. And oh my goodness, I had it on my face, I had it in my mouth because I'd been putting my fingers in my mouth, and oh dear. I went home and my mum was like, what on earth have you been up to? Oh, these have jumped to 3 O's. Have I put them in the wrong way around? No. Right, okay, so we're on the 3000s now. Oh yeah, because we're nearly on the 900s, aren't we? Right, let me get box 2. Okay, box 2. Right. So let's have a look. What was the first number? 3024. So I'm looking for the 3 O's and I want 24. I am finding this is helping me because I'm looking for the little tab that says 3000s, and then I know I just need to look for 24. So I'm not looking for 3024 anymore. I'm just looking for 24, if that makes sense. That's helping my brain to work, because as I say, looking for 4 numbers, I don't know, I just seem to get confused. I end up looking for the wrong ones. Is it just me? Do you get confused with 4 numbers? Or can you cope with 5 numbers or even 6? Okay, so this one's a 33 that I now need. Oh, this is so much easier. I'm so pleased I did this. It did take a lot of setting up, quite a few nights. What I actually did to set this up is sit one night in front of the TV and I put all the stickers on all the little cards. I had a box to put them in as well. If I'd have dropped them, I'd have been heartbroken. Trying to put them all back into numerical order would have just been, I think I'd have just given up. But no, I just went along and I put all the cards on. And then I already had all the bags because I had them in the rounds and square boxes. So then it was just a case of going through the box and taking out the ones with the squares in and checking with the number and everything and doing it that way. And yeah, that worked quite well. Quite enjoyed doing that. Right, 307. Oh, 72. Look for 72, Liz. Leave the 30. Yay. I'm not doing what I'm telling myself to do, am I? Not following my own instructions. Okay, gosh, there's lots of different colours in that one as well. I don't think that this company... Oh, that one's a 78. Ah, that's because the cards have stuck together. I don't think this company's followed their own colour coding on this. But anyway, hopefully there's only me going to see them. Well, and everybody that's watching YouTube. Or watching my channel on YouTube. So now we've got, is that a 3350? So we're looking at the 3 3s. So we're looking for 50. Yay! Something I can cope with. I've got Millie laid on the bed behind me. So she's watching. Yeah, that's a different colour as well. It's one of those jobs now that I wish I hadn't started. If I'd have realised that all these drills were a completely different colour, I think I wouldn't have bothered putting any of them in. But I've started them now, so I'm just going to carry on. So where are we now? We're still on, oh no, we're on a 3 6. Gosh, I can't read that. I think that's 3688. Let's have a look. So we want the 3 6s, so we want an 88. Whoa. See if any of the other 3 6s are a sort of similar colour. See, this is where the problem comes. If you've got one that's a pretty similar colour, you know you're on the right track if you've got eyes like mine. But if it's a completely different colour, even that's 87. 88. 89. I mean, that is just so different. Do I go with it? Do I not? Oh, I'm going to go with it. if I ever do one from this company again, I'll need to pop one out. I'll need to maybe use some of their colours. So that is quite bizarre. So it's been a bit of a strange canvas all the way around this. So I'm glad I didn't just do it as a wholly double-sided tape one. I'm just trying to think which company it was from. Can't remember off the top of my head. I will put the link down below. I don't know whether it was a Hurricane or not. I'll have a look anyway, and I'll pop it down below. 37, and we want a 21. 19, 26, so 21 must be somewhere there. Is that a 21? Yep. See, that's practically the same. Odd, really odd. I wonder how they've used their numbers. So anyway, I'm just trying to think what else we used to watch. I know there was Magpie on the other channel when Blue Peter was on. I don't remember Magpie ever making a newspaper chicken. What else? Oh, there was one called Finger Bobs, and it was this really strange man that wore polo necks and had a really long beard and long hair, and he used to have this like little silver cardboard mouse on his finger, and this was like the mouse's hand, and he was called Finger Bobs. I think he used to do a bit of crafting. Yeah, there was quite a bit of crafting then. And obviously he did crafting at school as well, and that was always from recycled stuff. They used to ask you, could you bring this in? I think one of the favourites that we all used to use was the middles of toilet rolls, because they're really good for making lots of things. So I still find it difficult to throw those out as well, because you can stick them all together and put a bottom on and make it into a pen holder, and we used to squeeze them together and make them into angels for Christmas and all sorts. So, you know, I used to have to really stop my mum from throwing anything like that away. Every now and again she'd come up to my bedroom and look under my bed and throw everything out because she was sick of seeing it. Oh dear, it's a good job she doesn't come up to my craft room now. She'd, mind you, she'd probably just say, you haven't changed, have you, Elizabeth? We've still got all the same junk. Oh dear. Hi Mum. No, I don't think she watches my videos. I think she probably gets enough of me when I ring her up and when we go and see her and everything. So 37, and then it's 43, so we're looking for 43. There's a lot of 37s. That's a little bit raised up there. I think I've probably got something stuck underneath. I'll have to have a look at that in a bit and see, because they can slip. I mean, these are really good bags, and they don't sort of like fold. They do stand up on their own. They're not real flimsy, but you can still get them stuck underneath the cardboard. They can still slide underneath. So yeah, just trying to think of any other programs. I mean, I used to love all the animal programs. We used to have one, oh gosh, I don't know, I think I've mentioned it before. It was called Tales of the Riverbank. Oh my goodness. It was real animals, and they had like this little set, and it was like supposed to be a riverbank, and they had like this water that was supposed to be moving, but you could see that, you know, it was a pump or whatever moving it around. And they had a guinea pig on it called GP, and they used to say he was Genius Pig. And there was Ratty Rat, which was a white rat, and then there was Hammy Hamster. Now, I don't think hamsters, well, they're not native to this country, and I certainly can't imagine you'd ever find one on a riverbank with a rat and a guinea pig as a friend. I've seen quite a lot of brown rats around us, as I say. Thomas, the little kitty cat that lives around us, is pretty good at catching rats. So yeah, we have rats around here. I think, you know, say we live near water, you're always going to get some sort of animals round about. Right, we're on, what's that one? 3804. But that's okay, I put that one in. But yeah, and I used to love it, and I nattered and nattered and nattered. I always wanted animals. My mum and dad mainly worked all the time, so you know, we couldn't have, well, it was always, can I have a dog? It's like, no, you can't have a dog, your dad and I both work, it wouldn't be fair on the dog. Well, can I have a cat then? No, I'd prefer a dog to a cat. Don't like cats. I like cats. I used to have 3, but this was my mum and dad. So then I'd say, well, can I have a dog then? And they'd say, no, you're not having a dog. So then I nattered and nattered and nattered, and I finally got a hamster. And of course it had to look like Hammy off the telly, and yeah, it was called Hammy. Oh, she was gorgeous. She was a little fat round golden thing, and she just used to play with us. We used to get my brother, I've got a brother, he's a few years older than me, and he was into all those little action figure toy soldiers, you know, the little plastic ones that you used to get. Not all these really expensive things that you get now. These were like probably about 10 pence for a bag of 100 or something when I was younger. And is that a 6? 3606, I want 06, yeah. And yeah, we used to put like, we used to get playing cards and make like little tents and things, or if there was any, if it had been anybody's birthday, we'd use the greetings cards that were left over and put little runs and things and play with the hamster, and then we'd have like a little football and we'd be playing football with the hamster and things. And oh, she was absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, but of course, unfortunately, hamsters only live like 2 or 3 years. So I was absolutely heartbroken when she passed away. It was like, oh no, I was really, really upset. You know, it's just unfortunate with smaller animals, they just don't live very long. What's that one? 36, I think that's 35, or it could be 38. No, we're on the 38s, aren't we? So it's 3835. Oh, dear me. I could always get my magnifying glass out, I suppose. But yeah, and then we had another little hamster called Fred. He was my brother's. He was tiny. He was still quite golden. He didn't have the white and the gold, though. He didn't look like Hammy Hamster off the telly. But he was lovely, and he used to play quite a bit as well. I mean, sadly, because hamsters are sort of nocturnal, they only used to come out on a night. So, you know, it was always, I don't want to go to bed, I want to stay up and play with the hamster. And yeah, and then what did and then we got budgies. I always wanted a talking budgie. You know, there are ones that you can get that are sort of like more susceptible to actually talking. Is that, oh gosh, I can't read that. 3864. I know my auntie, she always had budgies. All I ever remember is her saying, I will get this budgie to talk. Well, I think, to be honest, she used to talk to them, and she went through quite a few in the years that, you know, she had budgies. But she used to talk so much, the budgie never spoke to her because it couldn't get a word in edgeways. She just used to go on and on and on at them, and they were probably thinking, oh my goodness, will she just shut up? Right, let me just grab a drill pen. I have no drill pen with any wax in my drawer, so I am going to use my trusty pink glittery tweezers, and see if I can pick one of these up without being able to see what I'm doing. I've got 2 there, and put this drill back in here the right way up. Oh, this is going to be fun. Hang on, let me get it a bit closer to me and then I can put these drills away. Oh yes, I've got it in the hole, but it's just not a big enough place there for it to go. Right, it's gone down now. Again, not straight, not good. Okay, so this is 3865. Love my tweezers, thank you, Chris. Okay, and so 3865. I don't know why I'm looking, I've just said what number it is. Oh, got a bit stuck to me now. Where's that come from? Okay, so in my whites I think these bags are full, but in my squares, as I say, I've not done quite so many. So I have a different, even that one's a different colour. Look, we've got different shades, and that's cream. Albeit I do think white is one of the colours that it can vary so much. Just looks so different on different things. Okay, so we are all kitted up. Oops, let's get this off here. And I have still got all the bags in there. What I'm going to do with those, I'll leave those there for now, but that's all ready to kit up my next kit. I've got a few different bits and pieces to do. And then this will go in my logbook. I will cut it out and this will go, will I keep both? Yeah, I'll probably keep both. That'll go in my logbook as well. And this one will go in my portfolio. And I will label it so that I can remember that the bottom part, well, you can see which part's the poured glue and which part's the double-sided tape. So, definitely, yeah, a good experiment to do, a good playing around to see what it came out like. I said at the time when I'd taken off the double-sided tape from the canvas that I would never do it again. It wasn't worth the time. But thinking about it now and seeing how good it comes out, I think I'm going to have another go at doing another one, and maybe doing a bigger one. I might have a go. Oh, mind you, I don't know whether I've got any poured double-sided tape round pictures left. Might have a look through and see if I've got any double-sided tape rounds, and just see what difference a round one would make. Another little project to add to my list. Anyway, I do hope that you've enjoyed watching this and enjoyed seeing the final of the comparison. If you have, a thumbs up is always much appreciated. And if you want to come back and see more, then if you press that subscribe button and the all notifications bell next to it, you'll be notified when any of my videos come up. So thanks ever so much for stopping by, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Bye for now.